You're listening to the Baumbastic Podcast with Andrew Ellis on Inside Arkansas.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Baumbastic Podcast presented by Inside Arkansas and hosted by Andrew Ellis. I'm coming to you after Arkansas's midweek performance against the ULM Warhawks, which has not concluded just yet. Arkansas has suspended play due to some lightning in the area, and they will re-pick up this game. They postponed it to tomorrow at 2 p.m. These two teams are going to finish up their two-game midweek series at 3 p.m., and so I guess before that, they're just going to hurry up and finish this one. Let me paint the picture for you for where Arkansas is at here. Arkansas has a 10-1 lead in the bottom of the seventh inning, runners on second and third with nobody out, and the pitcher on the mound is a guy that nobody knew was on the roster. When he entered the game, the broadcast and everyone in the press box scrambling to try and find a bio because they don't know who this guy is. So I say all that to say, you kind of point to Arkansas likely going to pick up a run rule victory. Of course, they could bring the 10-run mercy rule into effect by just getting that runner in at third base, whether that's a bunt, fly ball, whatever. And even if it didn't happen immediately, we were likely really close to that happening. So again, Arkansas started this inning with my guy Nolan Souza having a 111-mile-an-hour base hit to right field. No big deal, just his second hit of the game. And then Charles Davalon hits a ground ball to first base. Guy throws the ball into left field trying to get the force out at second. And so that ends up putting runners on second and third with nobody out. And right before Arkansas could cap it, they go into a lightning delay. And so we kind of sat around for a while. It actually worked out well for me because I was driving home trying to get back to do this. Gave me a little bit of cushion to work with. But again, they made that decision about 30, 40 minutes later to postpone and pick the game up tomorrow. So there will still be a little bit of action in this one. But what I'm going to do for this episode is I'm basically going to treat it like a post-game recap like I was going to do. And so we'll just talk about what happened. And again, we'll just use our imaginations and kind of figure out what we think is going to happen tomorrow. But it does seem Arkansas is on track to improve to, I guess that would be 11-1 on the year and 2-0 in midweek games. So we'll talk about what happened here. So basically, in the top of the first inning, Arkansas gets the bases loaded with nobody out. And you're feeling good about it. Logan Maxwell had a big, I think Viva Aloy had an infield single after a Charles Davalon walk. And then Logan Maxwell rips a single to right field. And you have Kahio Aloy, Arkansas's hottest hitter, the hottest hitter on the planet right now, up to bat with nobody out right off the bat. And Arkansas ends up only getting one run in that situation, which was a little bit disappointing. Following inning, you had Arkansas gets another run on a Cam Kogel home run. And then in the third inning, that was Cam Kogel's first home run as a Razorback, by the way. I believe he was hit 402 feet and 103 off the bat. Just a really good opposite field swing to left center field. And that was the way the wind was kind of playing in Baum-Walker. Hardcore right field foul pole to left field foul pole wind. But I feel like this one was probably going to get out either way. It was definitely going to be extra bases. And then in the bottom of the third inning, Arkansas ends up getting a run. Vahiva Aloy leads off the inning with a double. And I tweeted about this. It was just really cool to see Vahiva Aloy, who, by the way, had 3 hits in this game, raised his average a good bit, continues to be very good at baseball. He had this double that was hit to kind of right center field-ish. Center fielder had to come over and make the play, had to cut it off before it got to the fence. I thought off the bat for sure it was a single, but Vahiva Aloy had 2 on his mind the entire way, never slowed down. The play was right in front of him. He made the decision right away, and he hustles it out, dives head first into what was a pretty wet infield because there had been a lot of rain. I mean, of course, they had tarp over it, but a lot of rain all day in Fayetteville, and they get the tarp off just in time to play some baseball, and there ended up being some more rain on top of it. But I thought it was just cool to see Arkansas's, one of their best players, one of their leaders, diving headfirst into the dirt, getting dirty on a Tuesday at 3:45 in the afternoon. It's a midweek against ULM. We wouldn't have held it against Vahiva Aloy at all if he had just kind of mailed it in today. But cool to see him getting after it. Arkansas's got a lot of dirtbags on this team that kind of have that personality, like a Davalon, Pepe, Kogel, even Maxwell a little bit. Like they have that kind of dirtbag to them. But it's different to see, your star, so to speak, getting his face in the dirt and just fighting for that extra 90 feet for his guys on a Tuesday afternoon. Always cool to see. And then his brother comes up with a chance for redemption. Again, Kahio had struck out with the bases loaded in the first inning before Arkansas got their first run on a Brent Iredale sac fly. He comes up again with his runner at third base or his brother at third base and 1 out, I believe is what the situation was. And he ends up blooping in a single into shallow right field. The right fielder was playing him like Barry Bonds, had him all the way backed up in the fence, backed up to like the warning track. Is pretty wild there. So Arkansas kind of piecing together runs early. And I should mention, by the way, Colin Fisher was Arkansas' starting pitcher, the sophomore lefty who we've seen in this situation before. They were hoping to get about 50 pitches out of him. They end up getting 41 pitches. He cruises through the first 3 innings, racks up 6 strikeouts as Arkansas is kind of marginally increasing their lead by 1. They had 1 run in each of the first 3 innings. And then it was the 4th inning where Arkansas was really able to break things open here. So it started with a Ryder Helfrich home run to left field, which made it a 4-0 game. Again, the wind was kind of blowing right to left. This one ended up going 379 feet, so I feel like it was probably going to get out either way. But just kind of a high, towering home run. That's his 2nd of the year. Good to see him get a big swing. When Ryder Helfrich makes contact, it usually goes pretty hard. And I think he may have struck out once or twice in this game, but when he connects, it usually goes pretty far. And then Nolan Souza follows it up. I mentioned he had the hit in the 7th inning there. Follows Helfrich with a double to left center, very similar to the swing he had on Sunday to finish out the series, to kind of break him out of this slump. 1-2 count, gets a fastball on the outer edge of the plate, just kind of hits it where it's pitched into left center field for a double. Probably shouldn't have been a double if I'm being honest, but the left fielder for ULM was having a rough go of it out there. But good to see Nolan Souza continuing to swing the bat better than more like we know that he's capable of. Good to see him going 2 for 4 in this game. Charles Davalon follows with a 4-pitch walk. Vahiva Aloy followed with what I believe was his 2nd or 3rd hit of the afternoon. I think it was his 3rd hit of the afternoon. And then there was a balk that brings home a run. Kahio Aloy ends up reaching with what was ruled a hit and an error, infield chopper to third base. Guy ends up throwing it away. That brought home a couple runs. And then Brent Iredale kind of broke things open with a 2-run home run, which made it at the time, I guess it was a 9-0 game. So by that point, it had been broken open. But that Brent Iredale swing, which, by the way, his home run, his 3rd of the year, goes 428 feet to left center field. I think it was 108 off the bat. Hard to hit a ball harder than that. Really good stuff to see. Let's pull up the box score real quick and just take a quick spin at it. So Vahiva Lloyd there has the 3 hits. Arkansas had 6 hitters in the 9-man lineup who had multiple hits in this game. Everyone reached base. Diggs and Davalon were the 2 that did not have a base hit, but Diggs was hit by a pitch. Davalon was walked and hit by a pitch, scored a couple runs there as well, and of course was in position to also, or I guess in scoring position by getting the fielder's choice error there in the 7th inning as well. Good to see the middle of the lineup. Logan Maxwell continues to swing it well, hit a couple balls hard to right center field for a base hit. Cam Kojal, both of his hits went to the opposite field, the home run 400 feet into the left center over in that power alley over there. And then he actually drove in Arkansas's 10th run of the game with a 2-out single just over the third baseman, just kind of blooped it into shallow left center field. Looked like it was going to bring the run rule into effect, but ULM ended up scratching across 1 run there in the 7th. You see the pitching numbers. So Colin Fisher, again, 41 pitches, 3 innings, 6 strikeouts, gave up an infield single to the first hitter he faced, worked around that, issued a walk there. I believe that was in the 2nd inning, worked around that. Just really good stuff. What we've come to expect from Colin Fisher. They, of course, want to keep giving him that starting experience, but wanted to have him available for the weekend. And so check both of those boxes. Could not have drawn up a better outing for him. Dylan Carter works through 2 innings, gave up, I believe, a 2-out base hit in his 1st inning of work, issued a leadoff walk in his 2nd inning of work, but worked around it, had a couple strikeouts, missed some bats with his slider, was touching 95, was consistently in that mid-90s range. He, of course, will also be available on the weekend and has been getting a lot of work for Arkansas and been doing a good job. Parker Coyle's been getting a lot of praise for his 8 scoreless innings to start his junior year. Dylan Carter quietly maybe hasn't looked as flashy, hasn't had an immaculate inning, but has gone 6 2/3 for Arkansas so far to start his senior year, has not allowed a run. So good stuff to see from him, kind of what you expect from a senior in this situation. Aiden Jimenez, the Oregon State transfer, gets the ball again. I actually thought Aiden Jimenez wasn't super sharp in this one. Gives up 2 singles right off the bat, one of which is hit really hard, right back up the middle. And then he gets a line drive that was hit right at Fayetteville Fly. I thought that was the hardest hit they had against him. So 3 straight line drives to kind of start his outing, but one of them results in 2 outs. He ends up battling back to get a strikeout. Just wasn't necessarily his sharpest. Left a few pitches over the heart of the plate. Was in at least 1 3-ball count, maybe 2. So maybe not the best day at the office for him. He's kind of teetering on that fringe of potential circle of trust guy, but like hasn't quite solidified that spot yet. He is to the circle of trust what Arkansas basketball is to the NCAA tournament. Like, we'll probably be in there when it's all said and done, but at different times you've been more confident. And then, he's had a couple, because weirdly enough, I feel like his worst outings have been on Tuesdays, but on the weekend, he's been throwing the ball pretty well. I thought he was great Saturday and did a lot to help his case there. Only threw, I think it was 14 pitches for him. So he would no doubt be available as soon as Friday for Arkansas. We'll definitely be interested to see if he can kind of lock down his spot in that circle of trust before we head into conference play. And then Cole Gibbler, the freshman lefty, who I've been a huge fan of dating back to the fall, was really good. I mean, I thought, weirdly enough, I thought he threw better in this outing than he did in his last outing against Michigan, where he didn't allow a run. He went 1 inning apiece in both, struck out the side, or had 3 strikeouts in both, issued a couple of walks against Michigan. And I think that's why they haven't put him on the mound since then, because they were a little bit worried. Can he really command his fastball? His fastball command, I thought, was really good today. He was 92, 94, mostly peppering the outer edges. Did give up a base hit in a 3-2 count on a fastball that maybe caught a little bit too much to the plate, but it was a little bit of a lengthy at-bat. The hitter did a good job there. And then ends up giving up a 2-out double, which again extended this game and is the reason why we weren't able to wrap it up before the lightning delay, on what the commentary team was suggesting might have been his changeup. He throws a hard slider in that kind of 81, 82 to 84 range, but he was also throwing a changeup at 84. And so they were trying to figure out if it was the changeup that got hit. But I thought, his stuff's good. He threw a ton of strikes in this outing. Like, if there's one thing you're worried about with Cole Gibbler, it's maybe the command, and maybe is he going to be walking guys. But I really thought his command was fine in this one. Just a couple good pieces of hitting, and left a couple over the heart of the plate. But I thought he actually did a pretty decent audition for himself in terms of getting some weekend work, and we'll see if he gets thrown into a situation like that here soon. But I thought all 4 guys that took the mound for Arkansas did a really good job. Of course, Big Tuna, Colin Fisher. We just know that guy's going to shove. Shout out to everybody who catched that. Saracen prop. Like I said, the lineup, just really good stuff. I'll pull up the numbers again. They finished 14 of 31 at the plate, which I believe is like a 450 something batting average. So really good, really encouraging stuff. You feel pretty good about just kind of all these spots in the lineup. Of course, Arkansas was supposed to win this game the way that they did. This, it's not groundbreaking for the high major team to win in this midweek setting. But it is. Arkansas has been really good in these situations over the last couple of years. Don't believe they lost a single midweek last year. They've done pretty good about taking care of business in these settings. And this is a ULM team that I don't think is very good. I think they are now going to be 5-6 after this one, and likely 5-7 after Arkansas whips that ass tomorrow as well. And I don't think they're going to go on and make the tournament or anything like that. But they did run rule Grambling, the team that Arkansas run ruled last week, and so they were maybe a little bit of a minuscule step up in competition, if nothing else. And just good to see Arkansas take care of business. And we'll see if they can do the same tomorrow as they head into the weekend and continue this wrap up this homestand. But the vibes are good with the Arkansas baseball squad, and we'll see if it can carry over for the Hardwood Hogs on the basketball court in Nashville tonight. So again, appreciate everybody for being here for this kind of rushed, quick, bombastic recap following a game that hasn't even ended yet. We will pick it back up tomorrow at 2 p.m. And then Wednesday, after the second midweek game concludes, I will do a quick recap of that as well. And I will let you know if anything crazy happens, if ULM erases this 10-1 deficit here. But I'm going to go ahead in my personal scorebook. I'm chalking this one up as a dub. So appreciate everybody for tuning into the Baumbastic Podcast. And let's cheer on those Razorbacks tonight against Vanderbilt. Woo pig.